Well, the season ended way too early, right?
Way too early, yeah, unfortunately.
You've been watching any of the playoff games, and what do you think of what you've been seeing?
Yes, sir, definitely. Watching some of my old friends play, excited for them. Always root for the Niners. Christian McCaffrey, have a bunch of friends over there, so happy to see them win and beat the Eagles. That's always nice. And then, just rooting for old teammates. I was rooting for Eric Armstead yesterday and any guys who I play with who I want to go get a ring. So it's always fun to watch football, but it also kind of hurts because you want to be out there playing too.
In your opinion, what needs to obviously the defense kind of struggled this past season.
Yeah.
In your opinion, what needs to be done there to try to move forward and get this thing on track?
Yeah, I mean, it was a very unfortunate year for our defense, and very frustrating year. Personally and as a group, it's you never want your group to be the reason of the team's downfall or not adding to the success. And it was the first time for me in my career of being a part of that, and that was really frustrating. And we have a lot of things to fix. Accountability. Executing the right spot. Just playing better football. Helping the offense out, helping special teams, getting the ball back, creating more turnovers, getting more sacks. It's something that we all need to put on our shoulders and make sure it's ready because we have a Super Bowl team, but we have to have a Super Bowl defense to get there.
So you do think this squad is capable with some improvements? Where are those improvements? What do you see specifically, or what part of that thing needs to be improved on?
I think as a defense, our tackling needs to be better. Too many busts where that led to open plays, in all rounds. It's not blamed on one group. We all have to be better as a defense. Creating more turnovers. Our offense had a lot of games where they didn't turn over the ball, but we weren't getting them the ball back. To help them out. And the games that they did turn over the ball, we have to create more turnovers to offset that and help them out. So it's that's kind of where I believe that we need to improve and get better. And just be a more disruptive defense. You want to be feared by teams. You want to go win road games, and you win road games by having a great defense, a dominant defense.
So the obvious move that has taken place, new DC coming in. What defensive line coach Aaron Whitecotton is being interviewed. Can you tell us a little bit about him? What do you like about him, and with him applying for that position?
Yeah, so I played for Coach Whitecotton for 5 years of my career, basically more than half of my career, and he's been amazing to me. Every D line I've been on, we've been great under him. He commands, intensity. He commands greatness. He has a high standard for us that he doesn't bend on ever, whether it's week 1 or week 17, and you're not going to the playoffs. He holds us to the same standard every day. Definitely a brilliant football mind. The way that he's able to communicate us concepts and have us understand why we're doing things and how the offense is trying to attack us, and also how to break guys down, is one of his superpowers and specialties. I definitely believe he's a man for the job, a man who can do it, and a man who would dominate it in his first year. I think guys can rally behind him, like with his attitude, with the way that he preaches intensity and preaches passion and violence and effort. I think he's one amazing coach, and I think he's up for it.
So fans may be calling for, okay, let's get somebody outside of this organization. Mm-hmm. Let's get a new face. Let's get a new voice. Not necessarily necessary, in your opinion.
No, I mean, my opinion, we have the coaches in the building to do it, and I think Coach Whitecotton's a great option for us, and I know management will get the perfect person in there. It's above my payroll, above my job, and I trust whoever they bring in, but I will advocate for Coach Whitecotton, knowing his name's in the mix, because I've been with him for a long time. I know who he is. I know how he operates. I know how he works. And I know he's a man who could do the job.
You know anything about Coach the Ravens' Zachary Orr?
The only reason I know Zachary Orr is because I grew up in the DFW. Believe he went to DeSoto maybe. So I always heard his name in high school for being a great player. Pretty sure he went to North Texas and had a great career in college and the NFL, and got into coaching right away. So I've heard great things about him. I heard players love him, and for me, he was a guy that in high school I looked up to because he was making plays when I was like a freshman in high school. So DFW name, so I always support those as well.
And reportedly also, Jerry's going to interview former Cardinals head coach Jonathan Gannon.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know much about Coach Gannon, but he was a head coach for a reason. He's had great success for a reason. So I know if Jerry's interviewing someone, they're up for the job.
Are you up for turn this thing around?
Oh, heck yeah. I want to win. I want to win really bad. I work so hard, to be the best player I can, to help my team get there. I still play because I want to be my best self, be the best player I can be, but also I play because I want to get a ring. I lost in 2020, and ever since then, since I got that taste in my mouth, that's all I want to do is go back there and have the confetti fall on good terms.
You're up for Man of the Year. Player, the title is Man of the
Walter Payton Man of the Year.
Yeah, Walter Payton. What does that mean? And we're coming down to it now. So what would it mean to you to carry that honor?
It would mean the world. All the names who've won it before me, like one of my big brothers in the league, Eric Armstead, obviously Dak Prescott. So many prestigious names on that list, and we don't do it for the recognition, but to be recognized and know that our work is being noticed and making a difference, it will mean the world. Winning or not, it's a high honor, and I'm just happy to be honored and to be representing the Cowboys in a good way, in my community in a good way, and want to keep doing that and influencing the guys around me to know that, hey, I know we're super busy, but we still have time to give back and time to pour into our community while we have this platform for a short time. But it means the world to me, and winning or not, everyone who's nominated for the award is a winner.
Segue to where we are today. You're here, you're giving back. These kids, how cool was it to be here and see those smiles on those faces and give a little time back?
Yeah, it was super awesome to be with the kids today. Whataburger and Salvation Army do a great job, and the money raised and the donations were huge. But these kids were awesome. Playing bingo with them today, speaking a little Spanish, and just seeing them get excited for some cheeseburgers. So that was awesome.
Felt like Santa?
Yeah, a different kind of Santa. Yeah, a food Santa, which I would rather have a food Santa anyway.
Very nice.